Hey, Lady C.
Hey, Crazyhorse.
How's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Do you want to go kayaking tonight?
Really? Tonight? You want to go now?
Yeah, let's go now.
Okay, let's go.
Let's do it.
Got off in town, resident on 70 Road. Got a nice wife and kids, y'all right inside the grove. You know I like Mr. Clark. Yeah, I should know he is my friend. Say if I just stay out the grave, he'll see that I don't go through the pen. Mr. Clark is a lawyer, he good life stream. He the first man to prove that water run upstream. Mr. Clark. Yeah, I should know he is my friend.
Oh my gosh. What are you
Kayaking. We're going kayaking.
Yeah.
What's going on, fishy friends? Oh, they're not there. Oh, right. They can't.
They're not there yet.
They can't talk to us.
You know, what is missing from our intro? Our intro is pretty amazing. I think you did an amazing job. More kayaking.
More kayaking.
Seriously,
That sweet snakehead blow up at the end is on a
That's
kayak.
good. But I mean, like, Raw being out on the kayak and the struggle, and you should do more kayaking
The
videos, yeah?
struggle. What kind of
The
kayaks
struggle
have
is
you been on?
real on the water at the kayak, and it's 90 degrees and there's no shade.
That's true. Welcome, guys, to another episode of the Crazyhorse Fishing Hour. Tonight, we are excited to have kayak guru, production manager, and art director of Fishtalk Magazine, the man, the legend, Mr. Zach Ditmars. We're going to really get into kayaking tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Deep dive, hopefully have lots for beginners and for seasoned veterans. Zach has done it all. He's been a kayak fisherman back before it was cool. Upcoming, we have Kayak Kevin Whitley. I'm so psyched to have him next week.
Yeah.
He brings with him a lot of energy. Talking about doing things before it really got started. Kayak Kevin was making VHS tapes, I think, at one point. Either that or DVDs. I'm not so sure Kayak Kevin ever made a VHS tape.
Wow. That dates us, no? VHS.
He definitely made DVDs of catching gigantic fish.
Okay.
A little bit south of here, down by Chesapeake Bay Bridgestone. But yeah. And then after that, we have from the Kayak Bass Fishing Tour, Miss Christine Fisher, who I'm really excited about. She's made time. But we've got a couple of new sponsors. Anastasia, you want to talk to us about that?
I'm super excited about this one. So Hook Optics. Love them. So they've been around for about 20 years. Family-owned business. Bob and his lovely wife, Nikki, she's a graphic artist, isn't she?
She is a graphic artist.
Did this amazing design here. Yeah. It's brilliant. So they sell sunglasses, and not just any sunglasses. I actually like my pair here called the Marley. Very fashionable for women. So hard to find good sunglasses for anglers, and this company does a really good job of that. They're out of Centerville, Maryland.
Yeah.
Where's Centerville, Maryland?
Centerville, Maryland is up. If you go across the bridge from the Western Shore, and you pass Kent Island, you kind of head like northeast-ish towards Chestertown.
Yeah.
Another thing that I'd like to feature tonight from Hook Optics, those are great for narrower faces and for women.
Very ladylike. Love it.
These are the knot tires, and these are great for guys about my age. Once you hit 40 and you start to realize that your arms are a little bit too short, and knot tying becomes a huge deal. I've always had, really nice sunglasses on my face while I'm fishing, but then I have to switch to my readers so that I can tie knots. The bottom portion of these glasses have a little bit of magnification on them. It's almost a little bit like a bifocal, but you can barely notice it from the outside, so you don't look like the dorky kid in 5th grade. You don't actually notice it at all from the front. You notice it when you have them on. The bottom portion of the lenses allows you to tie knots when you start to lose your vision.
Well, that's a good point too. So they do in-house, they check your eyes for you. So they're opticians in-house. So that's very unique about them as well. I'm nearsighted and farsighted, so it's really hard for me to get good glasses. I have this glare all the time. These glasses, I actually tested them out the other day when we did our walk. I actually think they're really great too. So that's who one of our sponsors is. And I'm really excited about that. Great people.
Great people, yeah.
But we have another sponsor too.
We do.
It's exciting, yeah?
Yes, and I've had the pleasure to fish with GI jigs for the last, I don't know. I mean, I learned about it not long after I started fishing on the bay. And I fished with a lot of jigs since I've been here. And you fished with a lot of jigs as well. And I can tell you, not just in this area, but GI jigs makes, in my opinion, the best fishing jig that you can find on the market. Here's an example. Here's a 2-ounce jig. And LJ, if you're around, you can chime in on the color. But you can tell what makes these jigs really unique is the size of the eye. Here's a 3/8, right? It's almost entirely the eye, and that's in white and chartreuse. And then they also make a raiment of it. It has that very recognizable large eye on them. And I'm not sure what the science is behind it, but this eye really seems to draw strikes. Another thing I'll say is this, this paint job, and Lonnie probably, LJ probably has heard me talk a lot about it, but the paint job is super durable. There's lots of other jig companies out there that if you fish around rocks or anything, that paint job is chipping off. What do you think about GI jigs?
I've used this one several times. When we went for stripers, I caught, how many that day?
You caught a lot.
Cold weather.
You were crushing it.
This one's my
The
favorite.
minnow,
I love metal jigging anyway, but this one was a winner for me that day. So, yeah, we have some people logging on too.
We do. We got Stephen Cambo.
Hey.
Cambo Trout. What's going on, buddy? How you doing? Thanks for logging in. Max Applegate. We don't normally get questions.
We're getting questions already?
We're getting questions already.
Love it.
Max, I'll get to that question in a second. I'm actually going to bring our guest in. Again, it's Zach Ditmars. He is production manager at Fishtalk Magazine and art director. That awesome Fishtalk logo, I believe the Fishtalk logo is yours, correct? Isn't that something you designed, Zach?
Really?
Yeah, it is, but how you doing? Hey, you just jumped right in. Great to see you guys.
Going for it. Good. How are you, Zach?
Yeah, but when we got started, we kind of already had prop talk, so the logo kind of designed itself. So if anything, I drew the hook, So, but yes, I'm responsible for
that. Zach is a Riva, Maryland native. That's correct, isn't it?
That's right.
From right here in the area. You've lived here your whole life. You're like an OG kayak angler, aren't you?
I don't know if you said. I appreciate the kind words, but when you say fishing kayak guru and then you say Kevin Whitley, it's kind of like humbling that you would even be remotely classified to his stature. I'm a big fan of his too. I think he's got some Betamax though. Videos.
No. Is it?
Okay.
He might have some
DVDs, but I've reached out to him. I've never met the guy. Super, super kind, willing to offer advice. I can tell he's a highly ethical angler, and he's inspired tons. And I look forward to next week. That's going to be awesome. So you've had quite a kayak string. You had Jim Cooper last week. Great guy. So you've had quite on a kayak string. Are you guys going back to the kayak?
trying to get back to the roots a little bit, you know? I mean, I don't know if you guys saw that video of Lady C and I fishing out of our flats boat, and our kayak guide had to drag us over the oysters.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
I mean, we caught tons of puppy drum.
Yeah.
But that trip would have been a lot easier in a couple of kayaks.
For sure.
You know,
I'm certainly envious of your adventures lately.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting ready to go down the. You want to tell everyone about our trip if they haven't seen it already?
Oh, so we're going down the Eastern Shore, North Carolina, Georgia, several spots in Florida. I want to learn how to fish for tuna, so up in that a little bit. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna meet some amazing people along the way. We're gonna have really cool, fun stories to come back and share.
How long are we going for?
40 days. Yeah.
Yeah. So this show will be live on the road for a
It's
while.
gonna be fun. Yeah.
It's awesome.
We already have a question coming in. I thought I'd save this for you because Zach, I know that you've been known to tie on a GI jig with a swim bait from time to time. Unless I'm thinking of a different Zach Ditmars. But the question is coming from, and I'll chime in on this since it was, I think, asked us, but any preference of GI jig color for time of year?
So it's the colors.
What say you?
Yes.
Zach Ditmars.
You know, I don't have a preference. I'm a pretty much whiter chartreuse guy, and I kind of like the combo that LJ's put together to where it's sort of like half and half. What's up, Max? By the way, we met a few years ago, and immediately struck up a conversation fishing, and his boss came by. He's like, "Get back to work." It's like, "No, we're talking fishing. It's important." Anyway, hope all is well at school, Max. So yeah, I mean, I think. For me, it's more of like time of day. If you're fishing, using that, I would call that the Michael Keaton, that one you held up, that 2 ounce, that black and gold. Those darker colors. Obviously, I would use them in low light conditions and whatnot. But yeah, I love the and I always wondered about eye color personally, but I don't really have the answers personally. I do know they work, and I'm a big fan of the GIs. I knew about them for a long time and was a little bit reluctant to pay the price point for it. But I'm happy to support local businesses, and then I'm just kind of hooked. I'm totally hooked now. Like, there isn't a better jig out there that pairs with a Z-Man, in my opinion. Really, there isn't. I mean, maybe the Eye Strikes, they're kind of partnered with Z-Man, but they're pretty awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot to say about when you have confidence in what you're fishing with. And GI jigs give me that confidence. So I really feel, I mean, I don't think that the fish are like, there's a confident angler up there. But I do think that when you're confident in it, you're expecting to strike at any moment, and you're a lot more dialed in. And I think that does it for me.
Yeah, especially if you're kayak fishing. You're out there for a while. It's not like you can hop on the boat and go back home when you're feeling a little bad about what's going on. So yeah, you have to have good lures, good jigs when you're kayak fishing for sure.
Last time I saw you two, we were fishing on Lenny Rudo's boat. I can't remember who caught the biggest fish that day, but I do remember it was a GI jig and a pink Z-Man, wasn't it? That was
that's exactly what it was. Yeah, and that was your fish.
White guy with a pink Z-Man overall.
You only caught it though because I think it was covered in sores. So you only caught it because it was sick and delusional. And what's going on, Lenny? Lenny tuned in and said, Lenny's a cool dude. Yeah. Hey, Eric, how's it going? So as we do every night or every time we do this show, we have a prize, and the question of the night is chosen by none other than Sir Zach Ditmars, and we're going to do kind of a combination prize tonight. Zach, do you want to show your end of the prize? We're going to
Well, we actually got
collab
two.
On this one.
We got two. We got a Prop Talk hat. And with that, there's more. We get a Prop Talk koozie.
Yes.
What? And stickers. Nice.
Wait,
okay.
more.
Oh, there's more.
Ooh.
There's a Fishtalk hat.
Ooh, I like that one. I like my hats.
I don't own a Fishtalk
I
hat.
don't
What is
either.
up with
I'm
that?
not a fish talker.
with some fish
Fishtalk
talk.
koozie.
So, yeah, and actually Packard wants me. Maybe if he chimes in, he can ask a question because I know he texted me this morning. He asked for the pets. So Eric,
I think Packard's been pretty busy, man. I haven't seen him around these parts recently. I don't know what I talked to him offline, but not so much on this. All right, so our end of is there more?
He's fishing. He
He fishes.
Fishes all the time.
So we are going to throw in a Hook Optics decal. If I wasn't from Georgia, I would say decal, but I'm from Georgia, so I say decal. We're going to do that, and since it's a kayak fishing episode, we're going to throw in, and also because Fishtalk and Zach have close ties with Heroes on the Water, we're going to throw in what would you call that, Zach? What's this bag?
I'm talking a seat back kayak storage management.
All right, I like that.
That's a
Something.
good title.
That's why they pay you the big. That's why Lenny pays you the big bucks. We're going to throw in the seat back kayak storage management
My tackle webs.
and the Fishing Channel T-shirt.
Okay.
So I mean, you pretty much got a whole new wardrobe and like 6 things to put your beer in.
Nice.
All right. So that's a pretty decent prize.
Yeah.
I'm liking it.
I like the seat back management kit. That's a long title. I'm sorry. It's all good. I like it. All right. So we're ready for questions?
I think
right?
we're ready to roll. Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
And guys, please keep questions coming. If your questions come in, I'm going to put them ahead of ours. So ask away. We already got them coming in, but go ahead.
All right. So my favorite question to ask everybody is, how did you get started in fishing?
I actually would, thanks again for having me on. I think I was a guest on the Crazyhorse fishing saloon when it first got started. So it's great.
You were the second guest.
Really?
Yeah.
He is the OG. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe the first. Was it you or John?
Wow.
John Vale.
John was the first.
Huh? John was the first.
John was number one. Yeah.
Very
And
first.
John Vale, great angler, Fishtalk contributor. You can read a lot of his articles in our magazine. So, so growing up, like Grant said, I grew up in Riva, Maryland. In the 80s, my parents bought the first house, first plot, and it was kind of the neighborhood was surrounded by farms, and there were some farm ponds. So some of my earliest memories are literally getting on my bicycle with a pre-rigged little 6-foot rod my dad gave me.
Oh wow!
Oh,
I actually have. This is the fishing reel. This is.
This is what happens when your wife makes you keep all your fishing stuff in one place.
A Shimano TX110 with 4-pound test. I use this reel. I ride my bike down to a farm pond in Riva with a hot dog in my pocket, and I would fish for bluegills until the hot dog was gone, and that's like 20 bluegills. It's just one of my favorite pastimes. So just my dad kind of taught me how to fish when I guess I was 3 years old. He bought a Boston Whaler. My family bought a Boston Whaler. He still has that boat. It's still on the same marina, on the same creek. So I can call that up and
they last forever.
Yeah. He's on it's second repower, so it's got, I think it says an 08 Yamaha 90 on it. And
the motors do not last forever.
Yeah. So it's a really cool boat. He's had it all gripped. It's beautiful. It looks like it's brand new. When he pulls it, oftentimes people stop and hand over a card and say, let me know if you're selling that, so it's my childhood, comprised of a lot of time on that whaler, fishing for, I was too young to know what a moratorium was, but we fished for a lot of perch. We used to catch flounder right off Thomas Point. We would drift minnows on bottom rigs right off Thomas out towards the channel. So, to the east of Thomas Point Lighthouse, and we would catch keeper flounder in the 80s when I was a kid.
Wow.
So a lot of great memories. We did a lot of crabbing. We just basically did hand lining. We would sort of post up on some of the points on the South River and put out like 8 hand lines and just catch a bushel of crabs and go home. So
wow.
So that great memories. And it's great to still do that stuff, you know.
Yeah. Wow, 3, huh? When you caught your first fish, or when you?
Oh, well, I was 3 when he bought the boat. I imagine I didn't actually get on the boat for a while, but
Oh,
so I don't know. But I sent Grant some of these photos that I had when I saw it.
You know, I should have put them on the StreamYard.
I'm probably like
them.
4 years old with a bluegill or something, sitting on that bank of that pond. So
nice.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's a nice story. You're getting a little nostalgic there. I see in your face there.
Yeah. That's what it's
Good.
all about.
Yeah, it is. So what is it about fishing that really gets you going? What's the passion behind the rod for you?
You know, I only got, you know, I do the CCA pickerel tournament every year. They extended it this year, and I actually fished less than I had in previous years. It was just so cold and windy this year. But you know, I booked a campsite at Trap Pond State Park last week. Camped out and fished like 3 different ponds out there. I fished one of our Fishtalk delivery guys. Unfortunately, isn't working for us any longer. He's retired. We talked about Trussum Pond, and I went to this place called Trussum Pond. I've driven by before, and it's filled with those cypress trees. And I launched the kayak. It's just immediate, just bliss. You're just like escape into this. You know, people think I'm crazy that I go out by myself, and I love fishing with friends, but I have no problem just finding this sort of inner peace, fish or without fish, you know. But I'd say that's number one. I had this excellent weekend of just floating around on 3 different ponds for 3 days. I caught 44 fish. That was a plus. And I just felt like just the ultimate, you know, relaxation therapy, I guess, you know.
Yes.
That is probably the greatest joy I get out of fishing, is just getting out there, exploring new places and meeting new people, meeting friends, you know, people like, you know, I don't even know Steve Camboris, but he's saying, hey, Zach, we're friends, you know, I can't wait to fish with you one day. Just meeting new people, meeting you two, you know, it's just a win-win, you know.
That was beautiful the way you put it. I say that probably every episode you've done so far. So that is true. That's my passion too.
And you know, Zach, it's funny that you say that, because we had been talking a lot more about, you know, putting the gas-powered motors aside sometimes and doing more kayak fishing. And I was one of those guys, and you know, I've been fishing with you. You had a very well rigged out kayak, and we're going to talk about that some tonight. But I think in my, you know, re-entry into the kayak world, I'm going to go like, you know, like a Native American. I'm not going to have a fish finder. I'm not going to have, you know, I might have a stakeout pole and, you know, a paddle. I might not even do pedal drive. I don't know, but I'm going to go back to really basic.
I think that's a good call.
And when I want to do all that, you know, fish finder, side imaging, all that stuff, that's when I want to get on my boat. But I really think, you know, my first kayak was a $290 God, what was it? It was a West Marine knockoff of a Tarpon 120, and I didn't have any gear on that thing, and I swear I caught more fish than any other kayak I ever owned.
Wow. Well, I shared, I think it's last week, my first kayak was an inflatable that had no rudder. It was fun in the Potomac. But yeah, there's something about being on a kayak. Definitely brings you closer to nature. Has that calm feeling for sure. So.
Got some questions coming in from the audience. So our boy Michael Cool, how's it going, Michael?
Cool.
Thanks again for logging in.
Cool name.
Michael says, what's your favorite area to fish wrecks? Structure, ledges on deep water, or banks? Obviously multiple is better, but singularly. Michael, this is a fishing show, and that's a 4-syllable word.
Big words.
I don't know about that, brother. What's your personal favorite?
Like it. It's a good one.
Yeah, you know, I really don't have one. I just when the first fishing wrecks, you know, I took a trip down to Kipta and that was really cool.
Heaven.
You know.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't say that. No, Kipta is horrible. It's horrible. Don't ever go. It's horrible. It's a horrible place. There's like dead rats floating in the water. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, very, very cool place. But I don't really have a favorite, to be honest, but I do like exploring new places. when I sort of got into the whole kayak thing, I kind of fell in love with Mallows Bay, and I would go there like every weekend. So I haven't been there in like 3 years. I should probably. Packard and I have been talking about doing a little adventure down there. I can't divulge the nature of said adventure, but it's gonna be fun. But yeah, Mallows Bay is I haven't been there since it was declared a federal national sanctuary or whatever. So I should revisit that. And I mean, and I know there's a ton of gar down there. I haven't landed a gar yet, so
That's a carp.
I mean, I've had like 6 species days down there. I mean, it's there's tons of snakeheads, but there is a good amount of biodiversity there.
Yeah, it's just a roll down the road for Eric Packard. Have you ever noticed that with that guy? It's like most of the time when you go fishing with him, it's like really close to his house. He's like, they're fighting out front of Solomon's. I'm just kidding.
I need to go down there. I need to go down there.
That's actually not true, Eric. We've gone fishing in lots of places, but you're just lucky because he
has it all over there. It's great.
He does.
I'm afraid I'm not going to see him now. The gas is like going to be like $5. But
not get into that. That was ridiculous today. Yeah. We got some more questions coming in. Let's see.
Oh, that's a long one. What's this one?
Our friends Cambo Trout says, favorite species to catch, favorite species to eat.
I think he knows the answer to this. It's got to be the snakehead. Come on. I actually have. But you jumped questions there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Favorite species to catch and eat? Was it?
Yeah. Eric Packard asked a follow up, which was, what is your favorite fish to catch?
It's got to be. I mean, it's got to be the snakehead. It's just I can't wait. To see. There's snakeheads now, like, about 100 yards that way, over there. Like my neighbor told me that they're in my neighborhood now. He caught a 28-inch last summer, so now I don't have to like drive. I can
where?
I'm not telling you where I live.
Well, I know you live in Annapolis.
So anyway, they're everywhere now. But so definitely Cambo. It's got to be a snakehead. I mean, they're just so fun to catch, and they're just so delicious. I have had a few with worms, and if there's like one, I'll pull it out. If there's like 8, I'm like, I don't know. And there's a ton of foxes over here. I feed it to the foxes, but I sent a picture to my hunting friend Brad. He's on here, and I was like, would you eat this? And he's like, no, man. I'm like, all right, I'm not eating it. So yeah, it's got to be the snakehead at this point. And I've got a few friends that don't fish that love to eat fish, and they come over and he's like, why aren't we eating snakehead? What is this perch? And I'm like, dude, perch is my number 2. I actually like perch better than rockfish. Mm-hmm. They're actually the same family of fish.
Yeah, they're both bass.
The maroon family, I think, but yeah, the bass aren't striped bass. The white perch are closely related to striped bass.
I thought they're all in the bass family. Well, I guess the bass are all in the maroon family or whatever it is.
No. Largemouth and smallmouth are in their own family, and striped bass and white perch are in their own family, and then sea bass are a completely different family. Rock bass is more like a bluegill. It's very confusing.
Yeah, so much to know. Brad Spittle, what's going on, Brad? I apologize, I've got your name wrong, but I think he's asking for someone else. He says Z wants to know, what is your favorite location to fish? I guess we kind of already talked about that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my favorite location to fish is on the Spittle's new Grady White, and wherever that may be is my favorite place. And I hope I get to fish with Z because I haven't, and she is an excellent young angler, and I think we're going to see a lot of cool fishing adventures from her.
So we have a young angler asking that question for the prize. This is Z's question, not Brad's, but Brad does have a question of his own.
Oh, great.
And he says, what was your biggest fish of all time?
That's kind of embarrassing, actually. I think my biggest fish is only a 38-inch striped bass. So, nothing to frown about, but, I think that is my biggest fish. My biggest kayak fish was a 36-inch. I think it was a sandbar shark, or they're so hard to identify sharks. There's so many species, but my one buddy thought it was a fine tooth. It was down in Wachapreague, and I was fishing out in the bay there, and it had sort of these like jagged sort of teeth that went sort of sideways. Anyway, so on a boat, 38 striper, on a kayak, 36-inch shark.
Wow.
Need to improve that.
Get on an open
Size
water.
doesn't matter, right?
Your personal best rockfish is better than mine. 2 inches better than mine. I only have 36.
I gotta say though, that it was trolling. It wasn't jigging. So
Trolling.
Trolling is like 3/4 of the audience.
That's true. No, we've trolled before. That's how we caught some of those great catfish we caught with Robbie in South Carolina.
I love trolling from a kayak. I think trolling from a kayak and trolling from a boat are two completely different experiences.
I got to get back into it. I haven't really.
Well, on a kayak, it's a great way to cover a lot of water.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
so tell us about Fishtalk Magazine. What are y'all up to? Anything new going on?
Well, we got the new issue. The March issue just came out last week. We got Jim Gronall. He's our freshwater correspondent. He writes a ton of articles about bluegill, trout fishing. He's a heck of an angler. Lenny got to fish with him. They did a video on some trout up in Pennsylvania a few years ago. So he deserved a spot in the cover finally, and that's awesome. Well deserved. He's contributed quite a bit to Fish Talk over the last 5 years, which I guess, 5-year anniversary is coming up this spring, so that's pretty exciting.
Wow.
Just like a blink of an eye, and here we are. We're just, we got the Live with Lenny now once a month. That sort of started during 2020, and it just, people like it, and we're going to keep going with that. Other than that, the news we're sponsoring a new fishing pavilion at the Bay Bridge Boat Show, so that's
cool.
This year. They realized that there's so many fishing boats there, and there's a few tackle shops and more manufacturers at the show, but there's going to be exponentially more this year, so that it's going to be exciting. So that's coming up in April.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, we love Fishtalk Magazine.
Yes.
Not only the people you guys have there. I mean, everyone that I've met from Fishtalk Magazine is just top notch. So.
Right. Well, I like the gear review. Do you do that, Zach? Where you do the
occasionally do.
Yeah.
But Lenny and Eric do a lot of those, and even our intern Ian Rubin just did a big article on several gear reviews, and he's awesome, by the way. I should mention him. He's Lip Ripper Baits. He's in high school. He was 17 years old when maybe 16 years old when he started his company. He sold thousands of lures. He's in anglers. He's in all tackle.
Yes.
If you want, they're the great corporate gifts. If you want a logo to give out, I wish I have two. And when you asked me for some prizes, I was like, man, I got this Fish Talk spook that Ian made, and I got a Whopper Plopper too. But I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't give this.
Well, how about this? Whoever wins the question of the night, I'll give you the link to Ian to liprivers.com, and you can pick out a lure, and I'll send that to you.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, I was going to contact him. He's in high school, so I don't want to bother.
Yeah, we interviewed Ian. We interviewed Ian at which show was that? That was
it was across the bridge.
That was the Kent Island Fishermen's Club. Yeah,
that's right. He was there. Yeah.
He's a brilliant young man. I spoke to him, and he is future oriented.
Well, Bethesda Magazine just wrote an article about him. An extraordinary young man, full page. He's got some quotes from Lenny, and I mean, he's 18 years old, and he's published in multiple magazines. I mean, I'm not sure where he's going to college, but I think he's going to do big things.
Well, he's not. I mean, you're not that. What are you? 20? You're like 3 years older than him, right?
That's right.
Yeah, he's really good. He talked about going to college. I'm like, right on. I wish I knew what I wanted to do at his age. It took me until my 30s to figure out what I want to do.
Wait,
right on for him.
Somebody in the audience tonight, tell me what I want to do when I grow up.
When I grow up.
I still don't know.
I'll figure it out too.
Got another question coming in from the audience.
Yeah. Ooh, Michael, cool. Do you, what is it?
Do you think?
Okay. Do you think up and
Think the up and
okay, sorry, there's like typo. Do you think the up and comers at Mary's College can get the Bay in a better place in the near future? We're getting desperate. Oh, that's a good one. That's a thinking outside the box question. I like that.
It was. I'm not sure. Hey, Mike, but maybe he's confused me with Lenny. Lenny's daughter and her boyfriend attend St. Mary's College. They'll be graduating, I believe, this spring. There's also a new environmental program that Lenny wrote about in his latest editor's note. So, that's Lenny's alma mater as well. So I think maybe he's referring. I certainly hope so. I think there's a bright young future. There's a lot of intellectual young people that are aware of the health of the bay and the fisheries and love fishing. And guys like Max Applegate, that was on here before. He's studying in the marine field, marine trades, I believe, up in New England. I don't recall. It's an institute of some sort. So you got a ton of young people. You guys got like Ian Rubin, David Rudo, Max Rudo, Molly Rudo. That I think there's a bright future, and I think that there's a lot of people getting into the young captains out there. I see, and So Lenny just chimed in. Maybe that's the answer we're looking for.
Yeah, Lenny says the new program at St. Mary's College definitely holds promise. We need science brains to help us out on the bay. So I think something we can all agree on. Another question coming in from Cambotrail.
Okay. Aside from Maryland, what's your favorite state to fish in around Delmarva? Oh, Delaware. Yeah. Delaware.
Maryland.
Delaware, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be honest, I'm a bit of a homebody. I haven't really spent too much time outside the Delmarva,
You fish in Delaware for pickerel.
Is he? Yeah, I know. I just spent the weekend there. I don't know if he's asking like outside the Delmarva or around the Delmarva. I mean, Maryland's the best. Come on,
No, around.
Around, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess he's including like Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I've only fished PA a few times. I'd like to explore some of the Susquehanna, north of the border. I look when you drive over those bridges and you see all those islands. It's super cool. I've connected with some people from Philadelphia with an open invite. I just need to take advantage of those. I think I'd love to get down to Florida, fish. I don't have an answer because I need to get out more. To be honest.
Or maybe he was asking us where we travel for fishing all the time. I mean, I don't know.
So I go to Waterprig every year with Dad and some friends. So I'm looking forward to that in May. It's an annual trip to Waterprig, and
yeah, I'd like to go international. If anyone who's listening, watching has gone international, please share your comments about that. I'd love to do something in another country too.
I've been on a charter boat in Costa Rica. I highly recommend that.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen those videos.
Those Busos Panama with Robert Field and those guys.
Oh my God! Robert Field apparently caught a new species of fish a few weeks ago, like something that
previously unidentified.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's some fish news.
That's kind of a big deal from a kayak fisherman. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that guy. He like drives around with a giant bus that says field trips on it. He's doing something right.
Well, we met him at the same time down at the Ocean City tournament a few years ago, right?
Yep.
And I met him at ICAST again. Nice guy, pretty down to earth.
Samuel Jackson says, "Should we put a moratorium on rockfish?" Sorry, Samuel. I'm sure you get that all the time. Not even funny.
I'm not a fisheries expert or biologist, but I do think that they need to amend some of the regulations. I think that the closure on catch and release doesn't make any sense based on the science. I think that I think imposing a slot limit is probably the way to go. The way to save the redfish. I think watching these trophy breeders just get massacred for they don't even taste good. People that eat them want to throw on some crab imperial to make it taste good. It's like the smaller fish taste better. One fish a day is perfectly fine. So no, I don't think so. But I do think that the ASMFC needs to listen, not just make their own decisions.
Yeah. Well, we're like 30, almost 40 minutes in the show, and we really haven't.
Oh my gosh, you got carried away here.
Dove into kayaks.
Let's
talk about kayaks. When you're purchasing a kayak, which you don't do because you're Zach Ditmars and people just give you kayaks.
That's right.
But if you were to join us laymen and women and buy a kayak with your hard-earned money, what things do you consider?
There's a lot of people ask me that and I've only owned a few, 5 or 6, I think, and pretty kind of narrow-minded as far as brands go. And there's a lot of new brands out there, but I think that they're built for speed or they're built for comfort, and I feel like the seat, you really just need to sit down in that thing. And if you're someone that likes to fish all day long, you're going to need to be comfortable. You got to be comfortable. I had a friend who bought an older model that it was an old Wilderness Systems model. Somebody bought the mold and they started selling it again. It had that sort of flat cushioned seat that's about 1 inch, and then
it's a Tarpon 120. Yeah,
it was. Yeah. Well, it's not. They changed the name. I think it was like Pompano or something like that. It was a West Marine.
Pompano.
West Marine bought the Tarpon. And
right.
Selling
Yeah.
He's like, I can't sit in it for an hour. My back goes to sleep. My tailbone goes to sleep, and it's awful. So, I mean, everything pretty much comes with that lawn chair style seat now. So I think, but they're way more comfortable. So, I mean, you got your price point to figure in. There really aren't any bad decisions out there these days. There's so many good qualities. The market has so much competition, and everyone's trying to make quality stuff. I do advise against buying those sort of Walmart brands. But I have some friends that bought those, and it's like, it's fine. It gets me out there. It gets my kids out there. We're on a budget, we're out there for 30 minutes. It doesn't matter.
One thing I'll say about a little bit of a nicer kayak is, obviously the seat is huge. I completely agree with you on that, Zach. But in the way that they track, and by track, it means when you paddle, are they going straight? Yeah. Right? That's the one thing that I've noticed, and I've owned the Walmart kayaks, is that they'll do this when you paddle. Sure. And that can be really frustrating and difficult to manage, if the water's a little bit rougher.
Mm-hmm.
And we've both owned natives, I know, and I actually, I've upgraded to like the Burley rudder. It's got the drop down skeg, and it actually improves the tracking quite a bit. Although it really wasn't that bad in the first place. It definitely helps though. So, speaking of which, I mean, I decided that I really like my native Slayer. I've had 3 native Slayers actually. Originally the paddle version, 14.5, and then I got the Propel 13, and then I actually bought the same exact kayak again, a newer Slayer Propel 13. I saw the Slayer Maxes at iCast. I haven't seen them in person or had the opportunity to. They look really cool. But I was actually telling Lenny this earlier. I love kayak crabbing. Like Lenny taught me how to trot line, and I sort of modified my kayak to built the stick, and the Slayer 13 is just set up perfectly for kayak fishing. So I'm not getting rid of it. I'm keeping it. So because of that, I'm doing every upgrade that's available for the day. So I've done all the Burley Pro. I did the handle. I did the Burley Pro steering. I had the Burley Pro rudder. I recently got this new keel protector.
Oh yeah, that's important.
That I'm gonna goop on there because I've been using like the Gorilla tape, and it gets nasty and shreds up. Actually, I'm pretty excited. I just got this new Railblaze paddle holder. I think that's gonna be kind of cool.
You say it the right way, don't you feel like? I always feel like a goof when I'm like Railblazer.
Yeah, it's weird. I think they're like Australian or something, right? I don't know. I got another one. So, and I got the gear oil. I'm gonna do the gear oil conversion for the. I bought some Mobile One the other day, and I'm gonna when I get that out, I'm gonna do that. That's replacing the white grease for the gears, and you actually fill the top and bottom chambers with Mobile One gear oil, and then you don't have to. and it voids the warranty. But I don't even know if that kayak's under warranty.
So I know what you're talking about, but from a beginner, what gears are you referring to?
Well, there's two styles of pedal kayaks. You either have like sort of the Hobie fin style where the fins flip back and forth, or you have basically a propeller style, which kind of looks like that. And I'm showing that because I'm actually also showing another upgrade, which is a lead guard I'm going to put on my Propel 13.
Oh, nice.
So, because sometimes, have you ever gotten braid wrapped around when you had your Titan? Did you ever?
Yeah.
You have to like take the prop
Take
off.
the propeller off. Yeah.
That happened to be during a fishing tournament one time, and I was like, this is awful. So now you have to carry Allen keys and everything. And
I can't tell you how many times I got braid wrapped around my Torpedo. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't mind doing all these upgrades, and I think that it's going to be it's cool. I'm going to keep the kayak for a while, and I don't know.
Yeah, that's what's great about a kayak. So many different upgrades you can do, all the different things that come out. I'm looking for a kayak myself, so this is helpful for me. Are you going to be doing a gear review for kayak maybe soon?
I'm not great behind the camera or in front of the camera. Usually, I'm a little nervous, but I'm coming out of my shell. I think I did a couple reviews in the years past on when the Old Town Topwater came out, when the new Hobie Outback had come out. I'm probably going to do a little review just of all these upgrades, because there's a lot of the used market is very good. There's all these new kayaks coming out. People are upgrading their Slayers, their Hobie Outbacks, and there's you can breathe a lot of new life into a perfectly good boat.
Sure.
So let's. I'm going to sort of revise this next question because it initially was for a kayak you'd buy for a beginner, an intermediate, or an expert, and you can take it that way if you'd like, but you could also do a less than 1,000, kayak to recommend, 1,000 to 2,000 kayak to recommend, and maybe 2,000 and up, or somewhere like that, like lower budget, middle budget, and money's no object budget.
Sure. A lot of people recommend the Vibes. Sort of like the Sea Ghost is a very popular kayak. I think for under 1,000 is a paddle kayak. I think if you're looking for a pedal kayak, under 1,000 is not really an option unless you find a really sick used deal. My friend of mine, John, sold an SP10 for like $900, and I texted him like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "It's sold." I'm like, "Of course it's sold. You just sold a native for $900. Wow. That's a $2,000 kayak." I think that those Vibes are good. I see those what are they, the Big Waters, or a lot of people, the 3 River Big Water.
Yeah.
Anyway, I see a lot of guys using those. I think it's a new brand. I'm not too familiar with it, but anyway, I would say for the 1,000 to 2,000, I would recommend the Old Town Topwater. I think you can also get a Hobie Passport for about $1,400. That doesn't have reverse. They're made in France. They're not actually USA Hobies. They're not rotomolded. They actually press the mold on top, so it's a little bit different construction. Very lightweight though. They're like 50 pounds.
Yeah, the Lynx is like that now, and and people are crazy about those. Those aren't rotomolded.
Yeah. I think they're made in that same factory. So I have an Old Town, and I've been very happy with it. The small issue where like the pedal stripped out of the crank arm, I called Hobie. I'm sorry, I called Old Town. A human picked up the phone. This is Old Town Canoe and Kayak is the oldest canoe and kayak company in the country, and I call a corporate place like that, and I get a human in 2 rings. I mean, just right there, it's like, I love you. So
yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I got this crank arm thing. He's like, cool, under warranty. All right, see ya, it's on the way. I'm like, a week later, I got it. I mean, it was amazing customer service. It happened again. And they're like, yeah, this has been happening. So we're going to send it the pedal already sort of mounted into the crank arm for you. Happened again. It's been fine ever since. Old Town customer service, top notch. You got to say, 2 experiences, just amazing.
Yeah, I will say, guys, that somehow, some way, this guy is a free agent. He's not speaking, representing any company.
No, we have no advertising in kayak right now.
Yeah. So when you said the Old Town between 1,000 and 2,000, can you actually get that that top water with the pedal drive for under $2,000?
I think it's $19.99, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. But they, you know what? They changed it since I got mine. Now it's the Sportsman. It's a little confusing. I think they had a little bit of marketing branding, sort of like they changed it really fast. It was the top water and immediately almost turned into the.
Yeah, we were down at Neuse River Bait and Tackle in North Carolina, and just walking through for something else, and they had kayaks out, and the Old Town Sportsman is huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Heavy.
I mean, it is gigantic. It looks like a pro angler, and I mean, I've seen your top water, which I've always been very jealous of.
I think there's a couple different lengths.
Yeah. Okay.
And then they have the Predator. I think that's what Cambo trout uses the Predator. It's pretty big, but it's a 13-footer, I think.
Okay.
So anyway, and then I guess over 2,000. I mean, the Hobies the prices just keep going up during the pandemic. I think they not added on a couple $100. I think Outback's like $3,400 these days. Yeah. I have pedaled an Outback, and I really want one. I just don't have $3,400 to drop on one. So I'd probably recommend the Native, and that Slayer Max 10 looked really cool. I would say, if you're fishing bigger water, the 13 is probably the way to go. But I don't think that's totally accurate. Eric Packard uses a 10. We've been out in big water together. I'm in the 13. We have almost the same kayak, except I have the 13 as the 10. He's got no problems with the 10 as far as stability, speed, tracking. So, I guess it's all about your personal preference. But
no, he has no problems with it at all. I was fishing with Eric in Blackwater one time, trying to head back to the ramp, paddling as hard as I could.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes by me on his pedal drive. Yeah. He basically could have done donuts around me. I thought he had like 6 torpedoes on that thing. I was like, shoo, just flew right on by me.
I did take the 10-foot out in the open bay one day. And one thing I did notice, it wasn't the stability that was the problem. Now, the Old Town has a beam. It's like 36, which is 3 inches wider than, and makes a huge difference. I think that's the most standability in that one is higher than anything I've ever experienced. I've never been in the Titan or the Pro Angler, so they're like boats though. But what I did notice is being out in the open bay with a short LOA like that is that when the big rollers would come in, it started feeling real uneasy getting caught in those wavelengths. It felt really weird, and I started to feel uncomfortable.
That's interesting that you say that because I've noticed a 13 or 14 foot kayak, that distance between rollers on the bay often is right around that mark. So you can get the bow and the transom kind of on a wave at the same time. And it makes it a lot more stable. Whereas that 10-footer, rocks a lot more. Yeah. Got a lot of questions coming in, or not a lot, but we got some questions coming in. One from Patrick Couch, excuse me. Zach, just one question. You crazy enough to crab with me in April? I mean, one of us may win that boat.
So Patrick also has been a contributing writer for Fishtalk. He's referring to the Jigged Up Unlimited pick and play that we were both sort of crazy enough to jump in. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but J.R. Witzel, had a little John boat, and it's like a raffle kind of thing. It's an interesting way to sell a boat. We both bought in, and I don't know, maybe one of us will be lucky enough. I think if we will it to happen, one of us is going to get it. But Patrick loves kayak crabbing as well. We fish for stripers out Triton together. He outfished me like crazy. Like he fishes, he's in a Hobie Outback as well. So Patrick's a big kayak angler. And if you look at his profile pic, it makes me uber envious. And I know a ton of these guys. John Vale's done it. Was it Blue Water out of Florida? It's like a kayak charter. You go right offshore. They give you Hobies and you catch wahoo, sailfish, all kinds of stuff. You're like 3 miles offshore. So I know Vale's done it. I know Patrick's done it. Very cool.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes, I'll go crabbing with you. He just wants my secret crabbing spot that he keeps trying to.
Well, we can talk about kayaks all day. There's so much to talk about with kayaks. But I have a question about Fishtalk.
We'll get to you in a second.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Were we going to go to a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, it's for the audience. Let's do it. Okay. So there's one thing other than the seat that's the essential on your kayak. What would that be?
That's from Eric.
Oh, good question.
Eric Packard.
Although the seat is
Staffer
important.
at fish.
We have the same kayak. I mean, why does he ask me? He just wants that hat, I think, you know? You know, like, I think Grant asked me this question the first interview 3 years ago. And you know, my PFD is like my most essential thing because, like he was saying earlier, you know, when you want to simplify things and you want to hit the water, well, you need a rod, you need a paddle, you need a PFD. That's really all you need. And the PFD can be your tackle box. You know, it holds everything. I mean, I have should have brought mine up, but I mean, I have an NRS knife. It's a breakaway safety knife that I have on mine. I clip my VHF on it. I've got small lure packs that I can put in my pockets. I have a tether for my phone, you know, for the CPR tournaments and stuff like that. So, I mean, when you want to go bare minimum, just the fishing, you know, PFD with all those pockets and storage, absolutely essential.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't think about that with the PFD being all storage. I struggled so many times with the tackle box. I've actually knocked over some really good lures one time when I was out. But yeah, that's a good idea too. The seat, very important. PFD, definitely. Must have. Good question.
Question coming in from David Hall. What's going on, David? Thanks so much for watching again. Which kayak would you recommend in the bay or local rivers?
Well, I think that kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, there really aren't any bad decisions. You know, you're definitely going to want to sit on top instead of a sit in because you want that self-bailing scuppers, you know, just for safety reasons. And if you're fishing the bay, you probably definitely want something that's going to be a little bit longer, you know, the 12-footer up if you're going to be fishing in the open bay. I don't know if you've ever paddled out to the rock piles at the Bay Bridge, but it's pretty sketchy. You definitely want a you know, seaworthy vessel.
Yeah. The other thing I'll say about the Bay Bridge is, you know, you want to be seaworthy because it's such a good spot because there's structure there. There's those huge pilings. There's horizontal pilings that go down there, but it's a bottleneck. So there's always a lot of current running through there. And if you don't have something that you can control where you're positioning while hands-free, right? Because you got to have your hands on your fishing poles. You need something like a motor, something with spot lock or a pedal drive to keep you from crashing into those pilings. Mike Cool asked, I don't own a kayak, but with gas going up, what's the best starter? Zach mentioned before the Vibe kayak line sells some really good ones for less than $1,000. Zach, did you want to add to that?
I would just say that, you know, there are a lot of the local shops you can demo. I know Backyard Boats in Eastport has a demo dock with everything laid out, all the different Hobies. If you think it's something you're going to do a long time and you want to invest, Hobie's the Cadillac, you know, look, check them out at least and know what the best is. Right next door is Annapolis Canoe and Kayak. They usually always have demos as well. Big Bass USA is out in Denton, I think, and you can demo there. And then, you know, OC Kayak is a new one if you're on the Eastern Shore. But if you want to take a drive and test out everything, I'm pretty sure Delmarva Paddle Sports carries every single brand. And they have demo days every year where you can literally test every kayak that's like out there.
Is that Delaware Paddle Sports or Delmarva?
Delmarva Paddle Sports. That's it. You have it right.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And a lot of people go there because it's tax-free. You know, I mean, it's a local business, so I have no problem supporting them. Again,
sure.
we have no endorsements from any kayak manufacturers or dealers. We just, you know, so we support them all because we support local business.
Okay. Well, I have a question about Fishtalk. So spring's coming. What kind of events and tournaments are upcoming for Fishtalk?
So we are a media sponsor for the Boatyard Bar and Grill opening day catch and release tournament. And that's at the Boatyard Bar and Grill. You guys should, if you're back in town, that's even if you don't do the tournament, it's a great party. It's outdoors, and the boat they like sort of like their whole parking lot becomes a big tent party. There's bands, Anglers is a sponsor. Ton of fun, you know, a lot of top anglers, and it's fun. It's a great thing. CCA is involved. It's a catch and release. Opening day. I guess that's May 1st this year. It's a Sunday, which is weird. And then we'll be sponsoring the like I mentioned before, the fishing pavilion at the Bay Bridge Boat Show, Bay Bridge Marina. That's also the end of April. We're also promoting the Coastal Conservation Great Invasives Count once again this year. That begins April 1st, runs through October 31st. If you're not familiar with that, it's just a means to go out fishing like you normally would. It's free to enter, and you can win some awesome prizes from CCA. And what you're really doing is you're helping the fisheries just understand how many of these fish are out there, how many snakeheads, how many blue catfish, how many flathead catfish are in the Chesapeake Bay tributaries. And you're kind of providing citizen science by doing this. So, you could just go fishing like you normally would. It takes, a few seconds to just punch it in. You use the iAngler app, and you provide vital data. So it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it.
That's great.
Well, I've got a question that's been pretty much like burning a hole in my run of show all night that I wanted to ask you. Alex Figueroa, who's a big guy in the kayak scene.
I follow him. Right? He's huge.
Huge. Made a video recently arguing that pedal drive kayaks are dying.
Yeah.
He says motors have made so much progress it makes more sense to get a paddle kayak with a motor. What do you think?
That's a good question. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. There's so much stuff out there. Lenny got a new e-propulsion on his little pond boat, which is basically a wide kayak, and that thing cruises, and it's awesome. It's lithium powered, and actually, I wanted to show off this. Sorry, it's not a prize, but I want to show off this cool new thing. It's the new Frable box. It's basically replaces this brick this thing's like 15 pounds. The old one. This weighs like I can lift it with like 2 fingers.
So you said that is the prize, right?
No, it's not. This is mine. You can't have it.
That's a great prize.
It is a great prize.
So generous.
But this thing will run for like 4 days. It's super lightweight. I guess what I'm getting at is that with all the lithium technology that's coming out, you can power your kayak, but it's expensive. The Dakota batteries are $500 for a 54 amp hour. I mean, I've been shopping for this stuff for years, so I disagree with what he's saying, and it goes back to what you said earlier in the show. I have all the forms right here in my file cabinet to get my stickers for the kayak. I've had them for 3 years. They've been sitting in this file cabinet. And it all goes back to what you said earlier in the show. I want to get back into kayaking, and I want to keep it simple. It's kind of what it's about. I've tried to pare back all the crap that I load onto my kayak and just take the bare minimum, keep it as simple as possible. And, that's what I said, like why the PFD is essential, because you can go out there with just the PFD, paddle, rod, and just that's why we do that. You get a boat if you want all that stuff. That said, I do really want a Torpedo, but why are you going to spend? People ask me about kayaks under $1,000. The Torpedoes start at like $2,200 for the new one. I think the new ones like the 401, and then there's a lot of new stuff out there. Newport vessels have some stuff out there. Honestly, I'm looking at like a Minn Kota. I can get a C2 Endura and the Dakota Lithium, and I'm looking at like $700 for a rig. So I mean, if I do anything, it's that. But you got to charge your battery. You got to load everything on. You got to rig the motor when you get there. So we fish together. We kayak fish together. You get there, it takes a while to unload and unstrap and get all your stuff going. That's just one more thing. You're adding another 10 minutes to it. So
yeah, I think some people have probably heard me say this before, but there's a guy that runs Key West kayak fishing, Steve Nagano. I might be messing his last name up, but he did an entire episode on basically the hassle factor of fishing, and he's a kayak fisherman, and his whole idea is if there's a bunch of gear that I have to load up, if there's a motor, if there's power pole, what have you. If there's all this stuff, and he's sitting on the couch and he's wondering whether he's going to fish that evening, his chances of going are diminished significantly with every little step that you have to take. And I mean, Lady C and I's kayak choice has been pared down to a 50-pound kayak. How long does that take us to load up?
Well, on my car, it's completely different because I have a little thing, but with the truck, it's not too bad though.
Is that
Awesome, man? Two
is that
paddles? We're gone.
the Crescent kayak that you still have?
Mm-hmm.
Have you been happy with that one? I mean, we're talking kayaks. I mean,
when I'm on the water, I'll be honest, I would rather have a native, right?
Right. Well, I saw you did the stand-up challenge in it, and you didn't fall in.
Yeah, had I tried to stand for like 3 more seconds, I'd have been in the water.
I was waiting.
But no, I mean, for me, I know I can be kind of lazy, and like if it's going to take me a lot to go fishing, I'm probably not going to go. So, being able to take that kayak in one hand, throw it in the back of the truck, grab the paddle, and I'm gone. Maybe bring an anchor. I bring 2 rods and a fishing tackle tray. I'm done.
Yeah. I when we got married, I bought my wife a Redfish 10, which is like a 40-pound native. The seat wasn't very comfortable. I paid like $200 to upgrade the seat to this. It's a lot more cushy. It's nice. And then I bought the little tag-along wheel for my buddy Peter Tursick, and it's like sitting at the water's edge. So it's like I kind of, you don't really use it, but it's like it's like the grab and go. I could like walk down to the water after work, pick it up with one hand, like walk down with my PFD and just go out and catch perch. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, once you're out there, it is kind of like tippy. It's not as stable as the other kayaks. So reluctant to let it go. Thinking about it. Anyone want a Redfish 10?
Man, every kayak nowadays, it seems like you got to be able to stand in it. But I don't even remember. Did I ask you the craziest story the first time you were on?
Yeah, I told you the one about the fish with no eyes. What do you call a fish with no eyes?
Is that a joke? Is there a joke coming?
I don't know, Zach. What do you call a fish with no eyes?
It's a fish.
Wow.
All right, don't quit that job at Fishtalk.
So if you read Fishtalk, you'll notice that there's some really funny readers we have. If you read our letters section, every month they send these like
just not so much the art director.
Let's see what this month says. Let me see here. What is a fishing dock?
Oh, good question. That's a good question.
A surgeon on vacation.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. I need sound effects. Does StreamYard have sound effects?
No.
My drums are unplugged, so I can't do it. Yeah.
So 2 questions. 1, who caught more pickerel this year, you or Packard?
Packard. He fished 36 days. I fished about 6.
Well, that sounds a lot like an excuse.
But did we congratulate him for winning this year?
He won?
First place kayak and second place overall.
Right on.
I knew I had the wrong guest on tonight.
I always tell you to call him. He's
No, we all love Eric Packard. He's a
heck of a fisherman.
Heck of a fisherman. And what tournaments, events do you plan on participating in this year?
I plan on doing the fish and paddle again. I lucked out last year, so I got the bug bit me. I got a nice 10-pound blue last year. But the same guy wins every year, so it's like it's like you should have him on. That guy, he's a heck of a fisherman. Morgan Miracle wins every year.
Where are these cool last names coming from?
I don't know. Cool
Michael
name.
Cool Miracle.
So I think I'll definitely do that one. I'll be doing the great evasives. Not so much a tournament, but I don't know. I don't really have any other planned. I mean, I'm probably the CCA. I just love the CCA ones. They're pretty friendly competition. You're not in it. It's a lot of camaraderie and whatnot. So that's why I like the CCA stuff rather than the for profit kind of things. I think I might be doing the anglers. I think I'm gonna do the angler snakehead again, even though I got crushed last year. I couldn't catch a snakehead over 4 pounds, and
well, she never say it, but I think you're looking at the beginning of a streak. It's going to start this year. Lady C is going to be winning the women's division in just about every CCA tournament for the next couple of years.
Well, I'm claiming tuna at least, but yes, maybe so.
There are no CCA.
No, there's no CCA tour for tuna.
You know,
I'm claiming tuna.
You're asking a lot of questions about Fishtalk, and I'd like to ask you a question on behalf of Fishtalk.
Yeah, let's go.
Cool.
What's up?
I love this.
Well, you know, it's more of a hypothetical, but you know, we're always trying to. We want. There's a ton of lady anglers out there, and we want a greater voice. You know, I know JLS Custom Rods has the new light tackle ladies, and they're participating in tournaments. There was a women's offshore alliance a few years ago, but you know what we really need is we need more voices for Fishtalk. So if you ever feel the urge to, you know, put the pen to paper or something like that, you know,
You talking about me or this one?
I'm talking about her.
Her, yeah.
If you want to be a lady, certainly.
Anyway, just something
judgment,
food for thought, fish for thought. Fish for thought. You know, we're always looking for. We had Beth Sinowick writing some articles for us a while, and she is actually a top-notch lady angler down in the Virginia Beach area. Big echo-pout fisherwoman. So anyway, more of a hypothetical, not a direct question.
Wow, I'm flattered. Thank you. I guess we'll talk. Thank you.
She can write real good.
Yes, I do like to write. I like to read.
I mean, they let me write, so come on.
For sure. Thank you.
Well, I think we're at that time of night, right?
Yeah, I feel like I got carried away. It's a good conversation.
That's good.
Keep on going.
At the time of night. This is the longest drum roll ever. Zach, what we got? Who's our winner for the night?
Oh, you know, I don't know. Why don't you do the prize wheel? It's so much easier.
Yeah.
Because
we're not ready for the prize wheel.
we're not ready for the prize wheel. And this encourages people to ask poignant and eloquent and accurate questions.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know, I felt like Michael Cool had a lot of good questions, and I liked Max Applegate's question early on. So we have a Fish Talk pack and a Prop Talk pack. So why don't you offer those up to Michael and Max and see?
You don't seem to get it, buddy. It's
That's
winner
really
take
cool.
all. No, I'm kidding.
No,
That's
you don't
great.
Michael and Max, we will have 2 winners tonight.
Yeah.
And so, Michael, you have a first place winner, Zach. So I can.
Michael had a lot of questions, so Michael gets first choice. How's that?
Oh.
Michael gets first choice, and Max gets second. That sounds like a plan. Zach, thanks so much. You're a wealth of knowledge. I feel like we could get more shows out of this. I left questions on the board, didn't you?
Yeah, for sure. Could have gone on and on and on.
I really appreciate y'all having me. You know, I could talk fishing all night long. So yeah, I kind of did. You know.
You did.
When are you going fishing next?
I hope to get out this weekend. You know, one thing I had prepared to answer. You know, like my annual goal is to try to catch like a new species, and I feel bad that last year I didn't get a new one. And there's a lot of new ones right here in the backyard that I need to get. You know, I'm embarrassed to say what they are, but walleye is one of them. So I know that they're catching some walleye. Packard told me they're catching some walleye up in the Potomac.
This guy here. That one.
Oh yeah,
That was a good one. Yeah.
Needlefish. Did you get a cobia yet?
No cobia.
Oh, Zach, I'll get you out there. We'll get a cobia this year.
Deal.
Oh wait, you're friends with Lenny, and you hadn't gotten a cobia yet?
He did take me out one day, and we only got one on the day. You know,
Lenny's like the cobia slayer.
Yeah, he had a lot of good days. So the problem with Lenny is that we do this fish for a cure auction every year, and he gets booked for like 6 months. People are very gracious. Another thing, yes, we'll be participating in Fish for a Cure once again this year. Fundraising is going to start early, and we're going to give it our all. We always shoot to raise $10,000. And actually, I just found out a friend of a friend passed last last night. So I mean, all this pandemic crap, and I found out 3 people that I knew that were younger than me passed to cancer this year. It's
Oh.
like, we forget about all the other dangers, and Fish for a Cure is always near and dear to us. I think everybody has had cancer affecting their life, so that's a big one I should have mentioned earlier.
Wow.
Yeah, that's definitely a cause that we'll be supporting this year. So
yeah, well, I encourage you to form a team and do some fundraising, and the tournament's a blast to fish in, even though it's November and freezing. But the fishing's awesome.
Oh, wow.
And you can do kayak. By the way, you can do a team of kayaks. 4 kayaks can enter as a team.
oh. Well, we got 3 of us right here. Who's going to be who's going to be our teammate? Eric.
He's on 15 Fish Talk.
Right. Well, that's something we'll definitely get behind. That's a great cause. We've actually done a show.
Here's on the water.
No, with when we went fishing with Lenny, it was all about spotlighting Fish for a Cure. So, but Zach, thanks so much. Everybody, thanks so much for joining. Max and Mike will be in touch with the cool prizes. Zach, you're the man, and thank you so much for everyone that logged in tonight. And thank you so much to Hook Optics and GI Jigs. Catch you guys next time. Next week is Kayak Kevin.
Hey.
Thanks so much, guys.
Got office in town, resident on 70 Road. Got a nice wife and kids, y'all right inside the grove. You know I like Mr. Clark. Yeah, I should know he is my friend. Say if I just stay out the grave.